If you've traveled west of Chattanooga, then you're probably familiar with Monteagle Mountain on 24, a stretch that some of our viewers have called treacherous because of the steep slope and winding road. And you've probably also seen these emergency runaway ramps. News Channel 9's Maggie Weaver talked with travelers about some of the anxiety that comes with driving on this area and in this area, and with truck drivers about how they prepare for this route. Maggie, you actually saw one of these ramps in use today?
That's right, Kim. While driving on Monteagle, I saw this. This is crews working for hours to pull this truck out of the emergency runaway ramp on I-24 East. Now, the Tennessee Department of Transportation tells me that this isn't an uncommon sight. Now, we wanted to know why they are needed, how they work, and what the risks are for drivers on this road.
It's a treacherous highway.
I-24 heading east on Monteagle.
I think the speed and the grade of the curve can be a bit, it could be a bit rattling.
A familiar stretch to many in our area.
We don't want to be around something going that fast.
And one that dozens of travelers say makes them nervous.
My mom hates Monteagle. If we're driving from Nashville to Atlanta, she prefers to go through Alabama, even though it adds an extra hour.
Most of that fear, travelers say, is from sharing the road with large semi-trucks, like this one, captured on a TDOT SmartWay camera crossing multiple lanes of traffic to use the runaway ramp. You can see a cloud of dust form as the truck bellows into the ramp and finally slows down.
So it's important for us to understand the risks associated with driving beside them.
TDOT says the mountain has a 6% grade with 2 emergency runaway ramps filled with pea gravel.
Both of these do precede places where the interstate does make a bit of a curve to the left.
Designed to slow truck drivers down in the case they lose their brakes or have a mechanical issue.
So that deep bed of material provides resistance for the rolling motion, and then the uphill grade provides that gravitational, just resistance.
Before you even get on your vehicle, you do a pre-trip of your entire rig.
Checking lights, tires, and brakes is something truck owner Luis Poblete says only takes 15 minutes and helps prepare for driving the mountain safely.
Your truck is not going to be able to stop if you have a flat tire.
Lauren Diedrich has been a long-haul truck driver for 18 years, going up and down Monteagle about every 2 to 3 weeks.
I've been driving this truck for 2.5 years now, almost 3, and I still go over it every morning, every night.
Diedrich says he's never had to use this.
Either lost their brakes or they've caught their brakes on fire or something else significant mechanically that keeps them from controlling their truck.
We have 34 signs specifically to truck speed, grade, the inspection station, the ramp, all aspects of how trucks specifically can navigate through this area.
Castile says 9 of those signs are specific to the ramps itself, including this sign, requiring all heavy load trucks to stop at this truck inspection station.
The heavier you are, the harder it is to stop, the slower you need to be going so you can stop in a shorter distance.
We drove through the inspection station ourselves to see how it works. The purpose of this light is for trucks to come to a complete stop, testing their brakes. As for passenger vehicles,
Advice to the drivers is just get away from the truck. Okay, don't be on the right side.
TDOT says to stay aware and give semi-trucks plenty of space.
Pretty much if you're a car, the semi has the right of way. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. I mean, really, if you're driving, they're way bigger than we are.
Now, after posting this video right here on my social media, we had multiple comments asking about the specific design of those ramps and the road there. For instance, why are the ramps on the left side, and if trucks could instead be required to drive in the left lane to have easier access to them in an emergency? Now, you can go to my Facebook page right now where I do explain all of those answers from TDOT. Kim.
And Maggie, thank you. We have also reached out to the Tennessee Department of Homeland Safety and Security to ask how many times trucks using these ramps cause an accident on this stretch of I-24 East. We'll update you when they provide those numbers.
If you are from the Chattanooga area or you've ever traveled through East Tennessee, you might be familiar with this road. Now, this is I-24 eastbound that's coming down Monteagle before you get into Chattanooga. It's about an hour away there. Now, the reason that a lot of people know this road. As you can see, runaway truck ramps here because this road is a 6% grade, meaning that it is very steep, and so there can be some safety precautions that truck drivers with very large, heavy loads need to take. Also, it's a very curvy road. I talked to the Tennessee Department of Transportation because a lot of people had questions about this road, about the design of the road, about why the ramps are needed, what are they made of, how do they work. So these ramps, according to TDOT, are made of pea gravel. They have a pea gravel material, and they're also slanted upward. Also, as far as reasoning goes, I talked to a lot of truck drivers out on the road. They mainly told me that these are for when your brakes go out or your brakes catch on fire. A lot of times, because this is such a steep slope going down the mountain, trucks have trouble maintaining their speed, and it's not good to just sit there and hold and press on your brakes. That's how they can catch fire, and then they could go out and you might need the ramp. I posted this video on my Facebook page of that ramp in use, and a lot of people had comments and questions about kind of the design of this area on Monteagle, so I took those questions to TDOT. Let's take a look at some of these really quickly. I'm going to move out of the way. Okay, so this one's talking about how trucks are not allowed in the left lane anywhere in Tennessee, and so this was actually kind of brought about because a lot of the trucks are driving in the right 2 lanes of the 3-lane road here going down Monteagle. But those ramps, guess what? They are on the left side of the road. So if a big heavy truck, a semi-truck, has to get to that ramp, they are going to have to cross, 2, sometimes just 1, but they're still gonna have to cross lanes of traffic to have to use that emergency ramp. So I took this idea to TDOT, presented it to them and said, hey, have you guys ever thought about the logistics of maybe having the left lane be all of the semi-trucks and then the right 2 lanes being regular passenger vehicles? That way those semi-trucks don't have to cross all the lanes of traffic to use that runaway ramp on the left side. Here's what TDOT had to say about that.
The situation we encounter has pros and cons. There's rarely a perfect solution to an issue that we have to address. And several of the things that are brought to your attention probably do make sense within themselves. But when all things are considered, we've determined this is the optimal outcome for this setup. As far as putting trucks in the left lane, it wouldn't fit in with driver expectation. It is extremely uncommon, practically never, that large truck drivers are expected to keep left. So all we could do in that situation would be put out a message, put out signage. It's really hard to convey that message when you're doing something that's counterintuitive to the driver of the vehicle. So trying to keep them to the right is what they're expecting. It's what's normal for these drivers. So that fits into the discussion and the decision-making process there.
There was also a comment about, well, why don't they put the ramps over on the right side of the road since the trucks are already driving in the right 2 lanes of the road? Here's what TDOT had to say about that.
Putting them on the left side allows us to use that challenging topography to our advantage because we can actually put the ramp going up the side of the mountain. If we were to try to build an upgrade ramp off to the right, not only is the road going downgrade at 6%, which is the maximum, but within our allowable design criteria for a freeway in a rural mountainous area. But if we were to try to build that upgrade ramp on the right, we'd be facing the downgrade of the road as well as the downgrade down the side of the mountain. And it's just not feasible.
So now you know what the ramps are made of, what they're used for, and how they're used. You also now know why they can't be built on the right side of the road. You also know that there's some pros and cons about trying to change up traffic patterns that may not fit into the driver's expectation and could be unsafe. Now, one of the biggest things that TDOT wants to remind passenger vehicles, especially when you're driving down I-24 eastbound here on Monteagle, is just to make sure that there's plenty of space around those semi-trucks, keep a safe following distance, and have a lot of patience with them. If you would like to see the full in-depth dive that I did into these runaway ramps here on Monteagle, you can go to newschannel9.com and look up that story now.